Rifle Mechanist is back. This build is extremely strong. It is very low effort, pulls 40k DPS, is fully ranged, and this is one of the only low effort builds that is at the same time also a fully fledged meta build for raid and strike missions. Because it's fully ranged, you can actually perform very well in a lot of encounters where you have to do mechanics as well, and it is very fun to play as well. So if you're interested, be sure to watch the whole video to not miss out a thing. But now, let's jump right in. So with the recent balance patch, we got some really big buffs to Rifle, so we are applying Rifle on Mechanist. For the rest of the gear, we take full Berserker armor, full Berserker Rifle, full Berserker trinkets, really straightforward, with superior rune of the Dragon Hunter for more ferocity, and if you can afford infusions, go with power infusions. For your sigils, you want to go with Force and Air Sigil, just for more damage. And for your relic, you want to go with Relic of the Thief. Just some passive strike damage increase. It's not that much, but it helps, and no other really crazy big damaging relic is worth it to run on this build. For utility and food, you want to go with Cilantro Lime Sous Vide Steaks, just for more power and ferocity, and 66% chance to steal life on critical hit. Just more damage and a little bit of healing. If you can't afford the Ascended version, you go for Oils of Sweet and Spicy Butternut Squash Soup, same stats without the lifesteal. And for utility consumables, you would always go with Superior Sharpening Stones or something that gives similar stats. For the traits, you go with Explosives, Firearms, and Mechanist. In Explosives, you get a lot of vulnerability application and damage increase, that's really nice. And just more damage, a passive rocket that deals some damage, and you get Big Boomer. So that's a nice damage increase, of course, but also very cool here, you actually have a self-heal of 200 per second because you can permanently upkeep that. So it's actually not to be underestimated. Then we have Firearms, just a lot of crit chance here, and we get some nice Fury and Ferocity, so that helps a lot just to get more damage out. And here 2% more damage per condition on the foe, so that means if you fight in a strike mission, in a raid fight, even in fractals, with bosses that have really high amount of conditions, let's say 10 maybe, that's really, let's say, not that often the case, you actually get a 20% damage buff. If you only fight solo, if you have only a few condis on the boss, you only get, let's say, 5 maybe, and then you have 10%, so you can actually, it depends a bit on how many condis are on the boss, but I would say on average you get something between, let's say, 12 and 18 or something % damage increase by this, and it's actually quite nice, so really, really cool. And then you have Mechanist, you just go all bottom traits here, just to give your mech the ranged attacks that also deal a lot of power damage. And passively you also get your signet effectiveness increase. That's not too much of a buff, but it's very good, for example, for the Force signet, of course. Just getting 18% more damage, that's just very, very strong. But all the other signets, it's not that crazy important. When we are already talking about the signets, let's talk about the utility skills and the healing skill. So for the healing skill, you would go with Rectifier signet if you need just some passive healing. You can, of course, use it as a healing skill as well. If you are in a strike mission raid boss where you know there will be some hard-hitting attack incoming and you want to deny it, for example, Guardian, AED is a very good option. You can ignore a lot of mechanics with that. If you need Condi cleanses, you can go with healing turrets, so there are a lot of options, just choose whatever is necessary. Then for the lead skill, you would always go with Shadebuster Cannon. It's by far the best option, because if your mech dies, you can reset it, and if you activate it, you can, when the mech is already alive, you just get heavy damage. It's the best option by far. And then always go with Shift Signet, just so that your mech gets the boons from you, and you can use it as a nice stun break, Condi cleanse, and it's just very, very strong from the movement speed as well. It's a teleport, it's really overloaded, this skill. Always take that, use it when necessary. And then you have Force Signet, don't use that, but use it passively, 18% more damage, it's insane, it's really, really good. And lastly, this slot is actually, so to say, your utility slot that you can swap around. Throw Mine is the easy mode, where you just put it down and every, let's say, 8 to 9 seconds you activate it again and just get some nice damage, boon removal, and some CC. If you want to go for the highest damage option, you would go with Grenade Kit, and that's about it. In the Grenade Kit you have the 2, 4, and 5 skill that you use off cooldown because they deal some heavy damage. It's just for damage. If you want to get some more CC going, you can go for Personal Battering, you can go for a block, you can go for, even if you want, for whatever reason, needed a really high amount of mobility, you could go for that, you can go for invulnerability. You have a lot of options there, and it's really, let's say, your flexible slot. The max skills, like I said, all ranged. and all deal some heavy damage, and also deal some nice CC, at least at F2, F3. And then you have revival skills, of course, 3 and 4, really nice damage and CC. 2 skill, some nice damage, 1 skill, some nice damage, and 5 skill, some damage, and evade and leap finisher. So that's some nice repositioning tool as well. Overall, use all your rival skills to deal damage. Now let's quickly talk about the rotation. So in terms of the rotation, you would always want to cast your F skills off cooldown, so your max skills. You can also set them on auto cast, so the max casts them whenever they are up. That makes it very easy. And like I said, you can use all your weapon skills off cooldown. They deal all damage and they deal more damage than the auto attack, so it's always worth it to use them. To increase the damage even more, like I said, you can go for grenade kit, but even going for throw mine is a damage increase. Just throw mine whenever it's up. If you go for grenade kit, I would always use the 2, 4, and 5 off cooldown. If you want to know when the 5 skill is off cooldown, always use the blunderbuss, so your 2 skill, wait a bit and go into the grenade kit and use the 2 skill there as well. So you can align them quite nicely. Other than that, if the mech is idle and doesn't have any F skills up, you can use the overclock signet to actually get the Jadebuster cannon. But other than that, it's really straightforward. Use your healing skill when you need to or your teleport, but other than that, just always spam the auto attack and use your skills off cooldown. Really straightforward. You can see this build is very easy to play and reaches around, let's say, 40k if you really know what you're doing and if you really perform very well. I link in the description below a video where someone actually gets 40k with this build. I'm not as experienced as this person, so I did not reach 40k, but still it's possible with this build with the same setup. So to summarize, you get a build that is dealing 40k DPS with very little effort while still being fully ranged, being fun to play, and being power. So what else do you want? This build is perfect for almost any situation you can throw at it. You're a perfect DPS build, and every group should take you because you will out DPS specs that have a higher DPS benchmark on you in real fights, because you are actually so easy to perform on. And especially in hard fights, this build is gonna be absolutely insane. So I hope I convinced you now to play this build, and I hope you have as much fun with this build as I have. If you want to see more low effort builds just like this one, be sure to check out my playlist in the description, where I have multiple low effort, low intensity builds with high DPS output for almost any spec, and there will be more, so be sure to check it out. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch, and Patreon. Thanks Malice, Lane, Timo. Thanks for your support, and I hope to see you all in the next video.